You need to stop looking in the wrong direction and begin to focus on what matters. That's the only way you would get the one God has prepared for you. Don't get twisted. The standards of God have not changed, and they are very much the same from generation to generation. The first thing we need to know as believers are that your husband or wife is not out there in the world, that is, an unbeliever. So there should be no room or space when you begin to consider an unbeliever or as a spouse. That's looking in the wrong direction. You have veered off the path by doing so. When you become involved with an unbeliever, it's only a matter of time before you stray from the fold yourself. And there is just no way you would meet with the one that God has ordained you to be with. Sure, we were all sinners at one point or the other in our lives, but the moment one gives his life to Christ, there is a division between you and others out there. Many young men and ladies get entangled emotionally with people that are not of the faith and then take on themselves the project of converting that young man or lady. The truth is that most often than not, this does not work out. So you need to stop looking in that direction. Get hold of your emotions and be focused on what God has in store for you. The fact that nobody is asking you out yet or seeking to be in a relationship with you currently is not an excuse either. Wait on God, and you can be sure that when the time is right, He will give you the best. Sometimes we think we know what's best for us, but that's not true. We end up making mistakes so many times as a result of our choices and earn for ourselves needless pain and hurt. Contrary to what people say out there, you can get it right once, but that's if you're looking in the right direction. You don't have to go through the trial and error kind of relationship that is prevalent today, and you don't have to experience pain or heartbreak before you find the right one for you. There's just no need to get unnecessary scars before you get the gold. You can ease yourself all of that stress by going to God and letting Him choose for you. In this case, you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain by seeing things the way God sees them. Don't follow the crowd and stop looking in the direction that every other person is. That would only land you in the situation of the common general, which is usually heartbreak and divorce in marriage. You might want to avoid this route by going in the direction God wants you to, even if it might take some time. God knows what is best for you. Believe it or not, He understands and knows you better than you know yourself. He knows who fits your personality and temperament. He knows who will be able to accommodate your weaknesses and flaws. He knows just the right person to pair you with that will help you achieve your dreams and purpose in life, which is very important. Instead of going to social media and using the measures of the world as your standard, why not look up to God? Why not wait on Him to direct your path and guide your steps? It may be that the delay that you're currently experiencing is because you've been looking in the wrong direction. Maybe you've been pushing the right people away from you with all of the high standards and requirements. You need to come down from your high horse and humble yourself if you want to get it right. Stop gauging everyone you meet out there and placing them on your scale. He may not be getting a fat salary today, but you don't know what the future holds. They may not be popular or meet up with the standards of the world, but what does God have to say about that person? And you might even end up meeting in places that are not likely, but you would easily dismiss such a person if you're looking in the wrong direction. When you do not have an open heart to accept people or the plans that God has for you, you end up boxing yourself and missing out on so many opportunities. You may think your husband or wife would be one of your colleagues at your workplace, when the person God has prepared for you might be someone in your Sunday school class. With God, there are no stereotypes, and He could just decide to work in a different way than you have known or experienced. We're humans, and there's no denying that we have our personal desires and tastes, which sometimes run contrary to what God wants for us. But that's the flesh at work there, and you don't have to give in to the flesh. Subject your desires and thoughts to God, and you will see the beauty and greatness that lies ahead with the one that God has prepared for you. Besides, there is this assurance that we have, that God can never be wrong. Remember that there's a time for everything, and God has it all planned out in His books written concerning you. He has planned out your marriage and prepared the right person for you. If you wait for the right time and you're not looking in the wrong direction, you won't miss the one that God has prepared for you. The problem is that most often than not, many of us are in a hurry to get into a relationship and marry. We compare ourselves to our friends and allow unnecessary pressures to push us into the arms of the wrong person. You might come to realize later on that you're the wrong person, but it might be too late by then, because while the right person was waiting, you were entangled with someone else. Learn to put your trust in God and believe that He has the perfect plan for your life, which includes the perfect person for you. Also, ensure to make God's standard your standard. Look beyond the container to the content, and don't let materialism, physical features, or mere emotions be the basis for your choice. Whatever you do, and when it is time to make a choice, always go back to check with God. That way, you won't miss the right one that God has prepared for you. While it's not wrong to have a particular checklist of how you want your spouse to look or other characteristics that they should possess, it's also very important to ensure that you do not box yourself or ruin your chances of getting a good partner by the choices you make or the direction that you're looking at. Especially as believers, one thing you should learn as you grow in your walk with God is that you cannot box God or dictate to Him. The things you want for yourself are things that might later come to shoot you in the leg. In making a choice, especially when it comes to the issue of marriage, you have to have an open heart that can accommodate what God wants for you. Otherwise, you end up making a wrong choice that you come to regret later in life. When it comes to choosing a spouse, your priority should not be their looks or what they possess. In other words, don't place too much focus on the external appearances of an individual. Rather, your choice should be what God wants for you. That should take priority when you are considering a life partner. Then all things can follow. So you just have to trust that God knows what and who is best for you. You have to believe that when He says you should go with a particular person, He is making the right choice and you won't end up regretting following His instructions. Looks can be deceiving, and the things that you're looking out for may fail you in the end. Beauty is not a guarantee of a beautiful marriage, nor do riches secure a home. Otherwise, why do many beautiful ladies end up in homes where they're being abused, and why do the rich often divorce each other at the end of it all? Moreover, all of those things are ephemeral and can fade within the twinkling of an eye. Beauty fades and accidents happen that can cause a once lovely face to become something irritable. Money can also develop wings, and a once rich man or lady can become bankrupt or go into poverty faster than you can blink. If these were your reasons for marrying that person and eventually those things became non-existent, what would become of your marriage?